Hi, today I'm going to review a book. It's called One, No One, and 100,000. It's written by an Italian author named Luigi Pirandello. One of the most striking things about this book is that Pirandello was born in 1867, and this is really an amazingly modern novel. I just thought it's just a great concept that he has in this novel. It starts with the narrator, Moscarda, looking in the mirror and examining himself, and then he starts to think about the image he sees in the mirror that's looking back at him, and what the image in the mirror observes looking back at him. And so he kind of breaks his identity into the man looking in the mirror and the image in the mirror looking back at him. And so it's a dissociation. And then he expands that to thinking about how his wife sees him and how he expresses himself to his wife in one way, and then how his wife sees him in another way. And then he expands that to all the people he knows, his business partner, people in the church, people in the town he lives in, and each person sees him as in a different way. So he starts to think about that, and it takes a while to explain it, but he does an excellent job explaining it. He's very clear. The writing is just very clean and precise. There's not a lot of decoration in this book. So it becomes kind of a philosophical kaleidoscope of all these different images of himself. It's really an ingenious idea. I really think that this novel, because I'll always remember this novel by the concept of the novel. And for that reason, I believe this novel is going to stay with me for many years. You can call these identities roles, and I actually used this theme in my video on Shakespeare's Richard II, and how each person has roles, and people see you in your role, but then you have your inner life and your inner monologue going on, which is not really reflected in your role. It's a great concept, but then a lot of times when you set up a great concept, it's like, how do you end it? You got this great thing going, but you've got to have a resolution to it. And that's difficult. It made me think of many things when I was reading this book. And one of them was at the beginning, where he was kind of looking in the mirror and looking at himself. I kind of had this feeling I was inside of a Cubist painting. And I thought of some Picasso Cubist paintings. And I thought that the cover of this book is really bad. It's an ugly cover. And I thought it would have been much better to take a Picasso portrait. I do have a fictional career as an art director for a fictional publishing company, and I thought I would have looked through all the Picasso portraits. And then there's the ones where they have the eye looking outward, and then they have the eye looking in at the eye. And so it's kind of I saw those Picasso portraits in a different way, and I think one of those portraits would be perfect for this book, One, No One, and 100,000. Would do in my fictional career as an art director, here's how I would do the cover of this book. I also, as long as I'm editing somebody else's work that's already finished, I would also change the title. I think the title's not very good. Let's call it Moscarda times 1000 would be a better title. Moscarda's the main character, and it would be Moscarda times 1000. Because the way he does it, one, no one, 1,000, it makes the person more anonymous. And I think it would be okay to focus on the character. Anyway, that's just for my fictional publishing house. I'd probably ask for a raise after I did that. The way that he starts with the individual and then doubles it, and then doubles it, and then doubles it, it's an exponential expansion. I recently read a book about investing, but it's by Benoit Mandelbrot, And Mandelbrot discusses fractals, and that's the concept of fractals, where it starts with one, there's a branch, there's a branches, branch, 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 all the way out, and that's called fractals. And I believe that it could be a clear comparison of the way that this book by Pirandello is written to fractals. Some adjectives that come to mind when I think of this book: it's very playful, it's very clever, it's witty, it's absurd. It's really an absurd concept. And as I said, how's he going to resolve it? And he resolves it in an ingenious way. When I read the last page, I was like, I couldn't believe he pulled it off. It was the most elegant, intelligent resolution of a book. I'm going to tell you what it is. What he does is he says, as he moves along and all, he becomes dissatisfied with all these different personalities that people see in him, and he decides the only way he wants to just be himself. And the only way to do that is to abandon your fidelity to the role that you have when you interact with different people. So you're always saying new things. And so people are going to become very confused by you. And when he begins to do this, people think he's crazy. Because they're like, where did you come up with that? Why are you doing this? And they think he's absolutely crazy because he's outside of the boundaries of the role that they see him as. He wants to do that. The way he explains it in the end is he has to keep dying and becoming reborn. This is the only way I can live now, to be reborn moment by moment, to prevent thought from working again inside me, causing inside a reappearance of the void with its futile constructions. It's just an ingenious book. I'm sure I'll remember this book many years after I've read it, and I highly recommend it. Thanks for watching.